So, what we are trying to do here is reading from Genesis to Revelation. Currently at Second Samuel chapter. I stop at Second Samuel chapter 19, so I will continue from chapter 20. Before we start, let's say our Lord's Prayer. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, deliver us from all evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Second Samuel chapter 20. Sheba's rebellion. There happened to be in Giga a worthless character named Sheba, son of Bichri, of the tribe of Benjamin. He blew the trumpet and called out, David, we won't follow him. Men of Israel, let's go home. So the Israelites decided David and went with Sheba. But the men of Judea remained loyal and followed David from the Jordan to Jerusalem. When David arrived at his palace in Jerusalem, he took the 10 concubines he had left to take care of the palace and put them under guard. He provided for their needs, but did not have intercourse with them. They were kept confined for the rest of their lives, living like widows. The king said to Amasa, call the men of Judea together and be back here with them by the day after tomorrow. Amasa went to call them, but he did not get back by the time the king had set. So the king said to Abishai, Sheba will give us more trouble than Absalom. Take my men and go after him, or else he may occupy some fortified towns and escape from us. So Joab's men, the royal bodyguard, and all the other soldiers left Jerusalem with Abishai to go after Sheba. When they reached the large rock at Gibeon, Amasa met them. Joab was dressed for battle, with his sword in its sheath, fastened to his belt. As he came forward, the sword fell out. Joab said to Amasa, How are you, my friend? And took hold of his belt with his right hand in order to kiss him. Amasa was not on guard against the sword that Joab was holding in his other hand, and Joab stabbed him in the belly, and his entrails split out on the ground. He died immediately, and Joab did not have to strike again. Then Joab and his brother Abishai went on after Sheba. One of Joab's men stood by Amasa's body and called out, Everyone who is for Joab and David followed Joab. Amasa's body, covered with blood, was lying in the middle of the road. Joab's man saw that everybody was stopping, so he dragged the body from the road into the field and drew a blanket over it. After the body had been removed from the road, everyone followed Joab in pursuit of Sheba. Sheba passed through the territory of all the tribes of Israel and came to the city of Abel Bet Makkah, and all the members of the clan of Bichri assembled and followed him into the city. Joab's men heard that Sheba was there, and so they went and besieged the city. They built rams of earth against the outer wall and also begin to dig under the wall to make it fall down. There was a wise woman in the city who shouted from the wall, "Listen, listen, tell Joab to come here. I want to speak with him." Joab went, and she asked, "Are you Joab?" "Yes, I am," he answered. "Listen to me, sir," she said. "I am listening," he answered. She said, "Long ago they used to say, 'Go and get your answer in the city of Abels.' And that is just what they did. Ours is a great city, one of the most peaceful and loyal in Israel. Why are you trying to destroy it? Do you want to run what belongs to the Lord?" "Never," Joab answered. "I will never run or destroy your city. That is not our plan." A man named Sheba son of Bichri, who is from the hill country of Ephraim, started a rebellion against King David. "Hand over this one man, and I will withdraw from the city. We will draw his head over the wall. Okay, we will throw his head over the wall to you," he said. Then she went to the people of the city with her plan, and they cut off Sheba's head and threw it over the wall to Joab. He blew the trumpet as a signal for his men to leave the city, and they went back home. And Joab returned to Jerusalem with the king. To the king, Joab was in command of the army of Israel. Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, was in charge of David's bodyguard. Adoniram was in charge of the forced labor. Jehoshaphat, son of Ahilud, was in charge of the records. Shiva was the court secretary. Zadok and Abiathar were the priests, and Uriah from the town of Jair was also one of David's priests. 2 Samuel chapter 21. Saul's descendants are put to death. During David's reign, there was a severe famine which lasted uh, for 3 full years. So David consulted the Lord about it, and the Lord said, "Saul and his family are guilty of murder." He put the people of Gibeon to death. The people of Gibeon were not Israelites. They were a small group of "What can I do for you? I want to make up for the wrong that was done to you, so that you will help the lost people." They answered, "Our quarrel with Saul and his family can't be settled with silver or gold, nor do we want to kill any Israelites." "What then do you think I should do for you?" David asked. They answered, Saul wanted to destroy us and leave none of us alive anywhere in Israel. So hand over several of his male descendants, and we will hang them before the Lord at Gibeah, the town of Saul, the Lord's chosen king. "I will hand them over," the king answered. "But because of the sacred promise that he and Jonathan have made to each other, David spared Jonathan's son, Mephibosheth, the grandson of Saul. However, he took Harmony and Mephibosheth, the two sons that Rizpah, the daughter of Aiah, had born to Saul. He also took 5 sons of Saul's daughter, Merab, whom she had borne to Adri, son of Barzillai, who was from Meholah. David handed them over to the people of Gibeon, who hung them on the mountain before the Lord, and all 7 of them died together. It was late in the spring, at the beginning of the barley harvest, when they were put to death. Then Saul's concubine Zippah, the daughter of Aiah, used sackcloth to make a shelter for herself on the rock where the corpses were. and she stayed there from the beginning of harvest until the autumn rain came. During the day, she would keep the bears away from the cubs, and at night she would protect them from wild animals. When David heard that Rizpah has done, he went and got the bones of Saul of he went and got the bones of Saul and of his son Jonathan from the people of Jabesh in Gilead. They have stolen them from the public square in Bethshan, where the Philistines have hung the bodies on the day they killed Saul on Mount Gibeon. David took bones of Saul and Jonathan and also gathered up the bones of 7 men who have been hanged. Then they buried the bones of Saul and Jonathan in the grave of Saul's father, Kish, in Zillah in the territory of Benjamin, doing all that the king have commanded. And after that, God answered their prayer for the country. Battles against Philistine giants. There was another war between the Philistines and Israel, and David and his men went and fought the Philistines. During one of the battles, David grew tired. A giant named Isbibenon, who was carrying a bronze spear that weighed about 3.5 kilograms, and who was wearing a new sword, thought he could kill David. But Abishai, son of Zeruiah, came to David's help, attacked the giant, and killed him. Then David's men made David promise that he will never again go out with them to battle. "You are the hope of Israel, and we don't want to lose you," they said. After this, there was a battle with the Philistines at Gob, during which Sabekah from Husha killed a giant named Saph. There was another battle with the Philistines at Gob, and Elhanan, son of Jair from Bethlehem, killed Goliath from Gath, whose spear has a shaft as thick as bar on a weaver's loom. Then there was another battle at Gath, where there was a giant who loved to fight. He had 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot. On each foot, he defied the Israelites, and Jonathan, the son of David's brother Shammah, killed him. These 4 were descendants of the giant of Gath, and they were killed by David and his men. David, son of songs of victory. 2 Samuel chapter 22. When the Lord saved David from Saul and his other enemies, David sang this song to the Lord. The Lord is my protector. He is my strong fortress. My God is my protection, and with him I am saved. He protects me like a shield. He defends me and keeps me safe. He is my savior. He protects me and saves me from violence. I called the Lord and he saved me from my enemies. Praise the Lord. Then waves of death were all around me. The waves of destruction rolled over me. The danger of death was round me, and grave set its trap for me. In my trouble I called to the Lord. I called to my God for help. In his temple he heard my voice. He listened to my cry for help. Then the earth trembled and shook. The foundations of the sky rocked and quavered because God was angry. Smoke poured out of his nostrils, a consuming flame and burning coals from his mouth. He tore the sky apart and came down, with a dark cloud under his feet. He flew swiftly on his wing creature. He traveled on the wings of the wind. He covered himself with darkness. Thick cloud full of water surrounded him. Burning coals flamed up from the lightning before him. Then the Lord thundered from the sky, and the voice of Almighty God was heard. He shot his arrow and scattered his enemies. With flashes of lightning he sent them running. The flood of the ocean was laid bare, and the foundations of the earth were uncovered. But the Lord rebuked his enemy and roared at them in anger. The Lord reaches down from above and took hold of me. He pulled me out of the deep waters. He rescues me from my powerful enemies and from all those who hate me. They were too strong for me. When I was in trouble, they attacked me, but the Lord protected me. He helped me out of danger. He saved me because he was pleased with me. The Lord rewards me because I do what is right. He blessed me because I am innocent. I have obeyed the law of the Lord. I have not turned away from my God. I have observed all his laws. I have not disobeyed his commandments. In his command, he knows that I am faultless, that I have kept myself from doing wrong. And so he rewards me because I do what is right, because he knows that I am innocent. O Lord, you are faithful to those who are faithful to you, and completely good to those who are perfect. You are pure to those, but haughty to those who are wicked. You save those who are humble, but you humble those who are proud. You, Lord, are my light. You despise my darkness. You dispel my darkness. You give me my enemies the power to overcome their defense. This God, how perfect are his deeds, how dependable his words. He is like a shield for all who seek his protection. The Lord alone is God. God alone is our defense. This God is my strong refuge. He makes my pathway safe. He makes me sure-footed as a deer. He kept me safe on the mountains and trained me for battle so that I can use the strongest bow. O Lord, you protect me and save me. Your help has made me great. You have kept me from being captured, and I have never fallen. I pursue my enemies and defeat them. I do not stop until I destroy them. I strike them down and they cannot rise. They lie defeated before me. You give me strength for battle. Oh, I'm really sorry, Adrian. And victory over my enemies. You make my enemies run. You make my enemies run from me. I destroy those who hate me. They look for help, but no one saves them. They call to the Lord, but he does not answer. I crush them, and they become like dust. I tremble on them like mold in the streets. You save me from my rebellion people and maintain my rule over the nations. People I did not know have not become my subjects. Foreigners bow before me. When they hear me, they obey. They lose their courage and come trembling from their fortresses. The Lord lives, praise my defender. Proclaim the greatness of the strong God who saved me. He gives me victory over my enemies. He subdues the nation under me and saves me from my foes. O Lord, You gave me victory over you gave me victory over my enemies and protect me from violent men. And so I praise you among the nations. I sing praises to you. God give great victories to his king. He show constant love to the one he have chosen, to David and his descendants forever. Second Samuel chapter 23, his last word. David son of Jesse was the man whom God made great, whom the God of Jacob chose to be king, and who was the composer of beautiful songs for Israel. These are David's last words. The Spirit of the Lord speaks through me. His message is on my lips. The God of Israel have spoken. The protector of the Israel. The protector of Israel said to me, the king who rules with justice, who rules in obedience to God, is like the sun shining on a cloudless dawn, the sun that makes the grass sparkle after rain. And that is how God will bless my descendants, because he have made an eternal covenant with me, an agreement that will not be broken, a promise that will not be changed. That is all I desire. That will be my victory, and God will surely bring it about. But godless men are like thorns that are thrown away. No one can touch them with bare hands. You must use an iron tool or a spear. You must use an iron tool or a spear. They will be burnt completely. David's famous soldiers. These are the names of David's famous soldiers. The first was Joshebashebat from Jachimon, who was the leader of the Tyri. He fought with Hispe against 800 men and killed them all in one battle. The second of the famous Tyri was Eleazar, son of Dodo, of the clan of Aho. One day he and David challenged the Philistines who had gathered for battle. The Israelites fell back, but he stood his ground and fought the Philistine until his hand was so stiff that he could not let go of his sword. The Lord won a great victory that day. After it was over, the Israelites returned to where Eleazar was and stripped the armor from the dead. The third of the famous three was Shammah son of Agag from Hara. The Philistines had gathered at Lehi, where there was a field of peace. The Israelites flew from the Philistines, but Shammah stood his ground in the field, defended it, and killed the Philistines. The Lord won a great victory that day. Near the beginning of harvest time, three of the third went down to the cave of Adullam, where David was, while a band of Philistines was camping in the valley of Rephaim. At that time, David was on a fortified hill, and a group of Philistines have occupied Bethlehem. David felt homesick and said, "How I wish someone would bring me to a drink from a drink of water from the well by the gate of Bethlehem." The three famous soldiers forced their way through the Philistines' camp, drew some water from the well, and brought it back to David. But he would not drink it. Instead, he poured it out as an offering to the Lord and said, "Lord, I could never drink this. It would be like drinking the blood of those men who risked their lives." So he refused to drink it. Those were the brave deeds of the three famous soldiers. Joab's brother Abishai, their mother was Zerah. He fought with his spear against 300 men and killed them, and became famous among the 30, and became their leader, but he was not as famous as the three. Benaiah, son of Jehoiada from Kabzeel, was another famous soldier. He did great he did great he did many brave deeds, including killing great Moabite warriors. He once went down into a pit on a sunny day and killed a lion. On a snoring day and killed lion. He also killed an Egyptian, a huge man who was armed with a spear. Benaiah attacked him with his club, snatched the spear from the Israelites, Egyptian's hand, and killed him with it. Those were the brave deeds of Benaiah, who was one of the 30. He was outstanding among them, but was not as famous as the three. David put him in charge of his bodyguard. Other members of the 30 included Asahel, Joab's brother, Elhanan, son of Dodo from Bethlehem, Shammah and Alikar from Harod, Elis from Pelet, Uriah son of Ikesh from Tekoa, Abiezer from Anatoth, Mebuniel from Hoshea, Salmon from Aho, Mahariah from Netophah, Heleb son of Baniam from Netophah, Ithiah son of Ribiah from Gibeah in Benjamin, Benaiah from Pirathon, Hiddeah from valley near Gash, Abiah born from Arabah, Azmavet from Bahurim, Eliahba from Shabon, the sons of Jashin, Jonathan, Shammah from Hariah, Aham son of Shariah from Hariah, Eliphelet son of Ahasbah from Makkah, Eliam son of Ahithophel from Gilu, Hezro from Carmel, Pariah from Arab, Igal son of Nathan from Zobah, Bani from Gad, Zelek from Ammon, Nahariah from Beerut, Joab's Ammon, Bokebera, Ira and Gareb from Jati, Uriah the Hittite. These were 37 famous soldiers in all. David takes a census. 2 Samuel chapter 24. The Lord was angry with Israel once more, and he made David bring trouble on them. The Lord said to him, "Go and count the people of Israel and Judea." So David gave order to Joab, the commander of his army, Go with your officers through all the tribe of Israel, from one end of the country to the other, and count the people. I want to know how many they are. But Joab answered the king, "Your Majesty, may the Lord your God make the people of Israel 100 times more numerous than they are now. And may you live to see him do this. But why does your Majesty want to do this?" But the king made Joab and his officers obey his order. They left his presence and went out to count the people of Israel. They crossed the Jordan and camped south of Arah, the city in the middle of the valley, in the territory of Gad. From there they went north to Jabzah and on to Gilead and to Kadesh in Hittite territory. Then to Dan, and from Dan they went west to Sidon, and then they went south to fortified city of Tyre, on to all the city of the Hivite Canaanites, and finally to Beersheba in the southern part of Judea. So after 9 months and 20 days, so after 9 months and 20 days, They returned to Jerusalem, having traveled through the whole country. They report to the king, and the total of the Mecca people of military service, 800,000 in Israel and 500,000 in Judea. But after David had taken the census, since consciousness began to trouble him, and he said to the Lord, I have committed a terrible sin in doing this. Please forgive me, I have acted foolishly. The Lord said to Gad, David's prophet, go and tell David that I am giving you three choices. I will do whichever he chooses. The next morning, after David got up, God went to him. God told him what, okay, God went to him, told him what the Lord had said, and asked, which is to be 3 years of famine in your land, or 3 months of running away from your enemies, or 3 days of an epidemic in your land? Now take it over and tell me what answer to take back to the Lord. David answered, I am in a desperate situation, but I don't want to be punished by men. Let the Lord himself be the one to punish us, for he is merciful. So the Lord sent an epidemic on Israel, which lasted from that morning until the time that he have chosen. From one end of the country to the other, 70,000 Israel died. When the Lord's angel was about to destroy Jerusalem, the Lord changed his mind about punishing the people and said to the angel who was killing them, stop, that is enough. The angel was by the stretchy place of Aruna, a Jebusite. David saw the angel who was killing the people and said to the Lord, I am the guilty one. I am the one who did wrong. What have poor people done? You should punish me and my family. That same day, God went to David and said to him, go up to Araunah's stretching place and build an altar to the Lord. David obeyed the Lord's command and went as God had told him. Araunah looked down and saw the king and his officials coming up to him. He threw himself on the ground. He threw himself on the ground in front of David and asked, Your Majesty, why are you here? And King David answered, to buy your threshing place and build an altar for the Lord, in order to stop the epidemic. Take it, Your Majesty. Araunah said, and offer to the Lord whatever. Okay. Araunah said, and offer to the Lord whatever you wish. Here are these oxes to burn as an offering to the Lord. On the altar, here are 3 yokes and the stretching board to use as fuel. Araunah gave it all to the king and said to him, may the Lord your God accept your offering. But the king answered, no, I will pay you for it. I will not offer to the Lord my God sacrifices that have cost me nothing. And he bought the stretching place and the oars for 50 pieces of silver. Then he built an altar to the Lord and offered burnt offerings and fellowship offerings. The Lord answered his prayer, and the epidemic in Israel was. King David in his old age. First, okay, we are through with Second Samuel. Oh my God! So we have just finished Second Samuel officially. Now let's go to Kings. So I think this king have a first king and second king, please. So we're going to first king. First King chapter 1. King David in his old age. First King chapter 1. King David was now a very old man, and although his servants covered him with blankets, he could not keep warm. So his officers said to him, "Your Majesty, let us find a young woman to stay with you and take care of you. She will lie close to you and keep you warm." A search was made all over Israel for a beautiful girl, and in Shunem they found such a girl named Abishag and brought her to the king. She was very beautiful and waited on the king and took care of him, but did not have intercourse with her. Adonijah claims the throne. Now that Absalom was dead, Adonijah, the son of David and Haggith, was the eldest surviving son. He was a very handsome man. David had never reprimanded him about anything, and he was ambitious to be king. He provided for himself chariots, horses, and an escort of 50 men. He talks with Joab, whose mother was Jeruel, and with Abiathar the prince, and they agreed to support his cause. But Zadok the prince, Benaiah son of Jehoiada, Nathan the prophet, Shimei, and David's bodyguard were not on Adonijah's side. One day Adonijah offered a sacrifice of sheep, bulls, and fattened cows at Snake Rock, near the spring of Erugel. He invited okay, he invited the other sons of King David and the king's officials, who were from Judea, to come to the sacrificial feast, but he did not invite his half-brother Solomon, or Nathan the prophet, or Benaiah, or the king's bodyguard. Solomon is made king. Then Nathan went to Bathsheba, Solomon's mother, and asked her, "Have not you heard that Haggith's son Adonijah has made himself king, and King David does not know anything about it? If you want to save your life and the life of your son Solomon, I would advise you to go at once to King David and ask him, 'Your Majesty, don't you solemnly promise me that my son Solomon will succeed you as king? How is it then that Adonijah has become king?' And Nathan added, 'Then while you are still talking with King David, I will come in and confirm your story.' So Bathsheba went to see the king in his bedroom. He was very old, and Abishag, the girl from Shunem, was taking care of him. Bathsheba bowed low before the king, and he asked, What do you want?" "Your Majesty, you made me a solemn promise in the name of the Lord your God that my son Solomon will be king after you. But Adonijah have already become king, and you don't know anything about it. He have offered a sacrifice of many bulls, sheep, and fattened calves, and he invited your sons, and Abiathar the prince, and Joab the commander of your army, to the feast. But he did not invite your son Solomon. Your Majesty, all the people of Israel are looking to you to tell them who is to succeed you as king. If you don't, as soon as you are dead, my son Solomon and I will be treated as traitors." She was still speaking when Jonathan arrived at the palace. The king was told that the prophet was there, and Nathan went in and bowed low before the king. Then he said, "Your Majesty, have you announced that Adonijah would succeed you as king? This very day he have gone and offered a sacrifice of many bulls, sheep and fatty calves. He invited all your sons, Joab the commander of your army, and Abishai the prince, and just now they are feasting with him and shouting, Long live King Adonijah. But he did not invite Misa or Zadok the prince, or Baniah or Solomon. Did your majesty approve all this and not even tell your officers who is to succeed you as king? King David said, Ask Bathsheba to come back in. And she came and stood before him. Then he said to her, I promise you by the living God, who have rescued me from all my troubles, that today I will keep the promise I made to you in the name of the Lord, the God of Israel, that your son Solomon will succeed me as king. Bathsheba bowed low and said, May my Lord the king live forever. Then King David sent for Zadok, Nathan, and Baniah. When they came in, he said to them, Take my court officers with you. Let my son Solomon ride my own mule, and escort him down to the spring of Gihon, where Zadok and Nathan are to anoint him as king of Israel. Then blow the trumpet and shout, Long live King Solomon. Follow him back here when he comes to sit on my throne. He will succeed me as king because he is the one I have chosen to be the ruler of Israel and Judea. It shall be done, answered Baniah, and may the Lord your God confirm it, as the Lord has been with your majesty. May he also be with Solomon, and make his reign even more prosperous than yours. So Zadok, Nathan, Baniah, and the royal bodyguard put Solomon on King's mule and escorted him to the spring of Gihon. Zadok took the container of olive oil which he had brought from the tent of the Lord's presence and anointed Solomon. They blew the trumpet and all the people shouted, Long live King Solomon. Then they all followed him back, shouting for joy and playing flutes, making enough noise to shake the ground. As Adonijah and all his guests were finishing the feast, they held the noise, and when Joab heard the trumpet, he asked, What is the meaning of all that noise in the city? Before he finished speaking, Jonathan, the son of prophet Abital, arrived. Come in, Adonijah said. You are a good man, you must be bringing good news. I'm afraid not, Jonathan answered. His Majesty King David has made Solomon king. He sent Zadok, Nathan, Baniah, and the royal bodyguard to escort him. They made him ride on the king's mule. And Zadok and Nathan anointed him as king at the spring of Gihon. Then they went into the city shouting for joy, and the people are now in an uproar. That is the noise you just heard. Solomon is now the king. What is more, the court officers went in to pay their respects to His Majesty King David and said, May your God make Solomon even more famous than you, and may Solomon's reign be even more prosperous than yours. Then King David bowed in worship on his bed and prayed, Let us praise the Lord, the God of Israel, who have today made one of my descendants succeed me as king, and has let me live to see it. Then Adonijah's guests were afraid, and they all got up and left, each going his own way. Adonijah, in great fear of Solomon, went to the tent of the Lord's presence and took hold of the corners of the altar. King Solomon was told that Adonijah was afraid of him, and that he was holding on to the corners of the altar, and had said, First, I want King Solomon to swear to me that he will not have me put to death. Solomon replied, If he is loyal, not even a hair on his head will be touched. But if he is not, he will die. King Solomon then sent for Adonijah and had him brought down from the altar. Adonijah went to the king and bowed low before him, and the king said to him, "You may go home." First King chapter 2. David's last instruction to Solomon. When David was about to die, he called his son Solomon and gave him his last instructions. My time to die has come. Be confident and determined, and do what the Lord your God ordered you to do. Obey all his laws and commands as written in the law of Moses, so that wherever you go, you may prosper in everything you do. If you obey him, the Lord will keep the promise he made when he told me that my descendants will rule Israel, as long as they were careful to obey his command faithfully, with all their hearts and soul. There is something else. You remember what Joab did to me by killing the two commanders of Israel's armies, Abner son of Ner and Amasa son of Jether. Remember how he murdered them in time of peace, a revenge for death they have caused in time of war. He killed innocent men, and now I bear the responsible for what he did, and I suffer the consequences. You know what to do. You must not let him die a natural death, but show kindness to the sons of Barzillai from Gilead and take care of them, because they were kind to me when I was fleeing from your brother Absalom. There is also Shimei, son of Gera, from the town of Bahurim in Benjamin. He called me bitterly the day I went to Mahanaim. But when he met me at the river Jordan, I gave him my solemn promise in the name of the Lord that I would not have him killed. But you must not let him go unpunished. You know what to do, and you must see to it that he is put to death. The death of David. David died and was buried in David's city. He had been killed. Okay? He had been king of Israel for 40 years, ruling 7 years in Hebron and 33 years in Jerusalem. Solomon succeeded his father David as king, and his royal power was established. But David was not that old because he was very young. Okay, David. Okay, the death of Adonijah. Then Adonijah, whose mother was Haggith, went to Bathsheba, who was Solomon's mother. "Is this a friendly visit?" she asked. "It is," he answered. And then he added, "I have something to ask of you." "What is it?" she asked. He answered, "You know that I should have become king, that everyone in Israel expected it. But it happened differently, and my brother became king, because it was the Lord's will. And now I have one request to make. Please do not refuse me." "What is it?" Bathsheba asked. He answered, "Please ask King Solomon. I know he won't refuse you, to let me have Abishag, the girl from Shume, as my wife." "Very well," she answered. "I will speak to the king for you." So Bathsheba went to the king to speak to him on behalf of Adonijah. The king stood up to greet his mother and bowed to her. Then he sat on his throne and had another one brought in, on which she sat at his right. She said, "I have a small favor to ask of you. Please don't refuse me." "What is it, mother?" he asked. "I will not refuse you." She answered, "Let your brother Adonijah have Abishag as his wife." "Why do you ask me to give Abishag to him?" The king asked. "You might as well ask me to give him the throne too. After all, he is my elder brother, and Abiathar the priest and Joab are on his side. Then Solomon made a solemn promise in the Lord's name. May God strike me dead if I don't make Adonijah pay with his life for asking this. Without ethically honest relating, the Lord has firmly established me on the throne of my father David. He have kept his promise and gave the kingdom to me and my descendants. I swear by the living Lord that Adonijah will die this very day. So King David gave orders to Bania, who went out and killed Adonijah. Abiatar's banishment and Joab dead. Bible gbọ́dọ̀ ìwé àmì ìdìbò ẹ̀yìn Adonijah. Then King Solomon said to Abiathar the priest, "Go to your country home in Anathoth. You deserve to die, but I will not have you put to death now, for you're in charge of the Lord's covenant boss, while you were with my father David, and you share in all his trouble." Then Solomon dismissed Abiathar from serving as a priest of the Lord, and so he made what the Lord had said in Shiloh about the priest Eli and his descendants' country. Joab heard what had happened. He had supported Adonijah but not Absalom. So he flew to the tent of the Lord's presence and took hold of the corners of the altar. When the news reached the king Solomon that Joab had flown to the tent and was by the altar, Solomon sent a messenger to Joab to ask him why he flew to the altar. Joab answered that he had flown to the Lord because he was afraid of Solomon. So King Solomon sent Benaiah to King Joab. He went to Joab. The king ordered you to come out. No, Joab answered, "I will die here." Benaiah went back to the king and told him what Joab had said. Do what Joab says. Solomon answered, "Kill him and bury him. Then neither I nor any other of David's descendants will any longer be held responsible for what Joab did when he killed innocent men. The Lord will punish Joab for those murders which she committed without my father David's knowledge." Joab killed 2 innocent men who were better than men that we okay. Joab Joab where's the Joab? The Lord will punish her for those murders which she committed without my father's knowledge. Joab killed 2 innocent men who were better men than him: Abner, commander of the army of Israel, and Amasa, commander of the army of Judah. Okay, no more behind. The punishment for their murderers will fall on Joab and on his descendants forever. But the Lord will always keep success to David's descendant who sits on his throne. So Benaiah went to the tent of the Lord's presence and killed Joab, and he was buried at his home in the open country. The king made Benaiah commander of the army in Joab's place and put Zadok the priest in Abiathar's place. Anyways, the death of Shimei. But I thought King David forgave Shimei. Then he sent for Shimei and said to him, "Build a house for yourself here in Jerusalem. Live in it and don't leave the city. If you ever leave and go beyond the brook of Kidron, you will certainly die, and you yourself will be to blame." "Very well, your majesty." Shimei answered, "I will do what you say." So he lived in Jerusalem a long time. 3 years later, however, two of Shime's slaves ran away to the king of Gath, Achish son of Micah. When Shime heard that they were in Gath, he saddled his donkey and went to King Achish in, in Gath so to find his slaves. He found them and brought them back home. When Solomon heard that Shimei had done, he sent for him and said, I made you promise in the Lord's name not to leave Jerusalem. And I warn you that if you ever did, you would settle there. Did you not agree to it and say that you will obey me? Why have you broken your promise and disobeyed my command? You know very well all the wrong that you did to my father David. The Lord will punish you for it. But he will bless me and he will make the kingdom secure forever. Like King gave order to Benaiah, who went out and killed Shimei. Solomon was now in complete control. Chapter 3. Solomon prays for wisdom. Wake up, people. Okay. Solomon made an alliance with the king of Egypt by marrying his daughter. Yeah. He brought her to live in David's city until he had finished building his palace, the temple, and the wall around Jerusalem. A temple had not yet been built for the Lord, and so the people were still offering sacrifice at many different altars. Solomon loved the Lord and followed the instruction of his father David, but he also slaughtered animals and offered them as sacrifice on various altars. On one occasion, he went to Gibeon to offer sacrifice because that was where the most famous altar was. He had offered hundreds of burnt offerings there in the past. That night the Lord appeared to him in a dream and asked him, What would you like me to give you? Solomon answered, You already show great love for my father David, your servant, and he was good, loyal, and honest in his relationship with you. And you have continued to show him your great and constant love by giving him a son who today rules in his place. O Lord God, you have let me succeed my father as king, even though I am very young and don't know how to rule. Here I am among the people you have chosen to be your own, a people who are so many that they cannot be counted. So give me the wisdom I need to rule your people with justice and to know the difference between good and evil. Otherwise, how will I ever be able to rule this great people of yours? The Lord was pleased that Solomon had asked for this. And so he said to him, Because you have asked for the wisdom to rule justly, instead of long life for yourself or riches or the death of your enemies, I will do what you have asked. I will give you more wisdom and understanding than anyone have ever had before or will ever have again. I will also I will also give you what you have not asked for. All your life you will have wealth and honor, more than that of any other king. And if you obey me and keep my laws and commands as your father David did, I will give you a long life. Solomon woke up and realized that God had spoken to him in a dream. Then he went to Jerusalem and stood in front of the Lord's covenant post and offered burnt offering and fellowship offering to the Lord. After that, he gave a feast for all his officers. Solomon judged a difficult case. One day, two prostitutes came and presented themselves before King Solomon. One of them said, Your Majesty, this woman and I live in the same house. I gave birth to a baby boy at home while she was there, 2 days after my child was born, she also gave birth to a baby boy. Only the two of us were there in the house. No one else was present. Then one night, she accidentally rolled over on her baby and smothered it. She got up during the night, took my son from my side while I was asleep, and carried him to her bed. Then she put the dead child in my bed. The next morning, when I woke up and was going to feed my baby, I saw that it was dead. I looked at it very okay. I looked at it more closely that it was not my child. But the other woman said, "No, the living child is mine, and the dead one is yours." The first woman answered, "No, the dead child is yours, and the living one is mine." And so they argued before the king. Then King Solomon said, "Each of you claim that the living child is yours, is hers, and that the dead child belongs to the other one." He sent for his sword. He sent for his sword. When it was brought, he said, "Cut the living child in two and give each woman half of it." The real mother, heart full of love for her son, said to the king, "Please, your majesty, don't kill the child, give it to her." But the other woman said, "Don't give it to either of us. Go ahead and cut it in two." Then Solomon said, "Don't kill the child, give it to the first woman. She is its real mother." When the people of Israel heard of the Solomon's decision, they were all filled with deep respect for him, because they knew that that God had given him the wisdom to settle disputes fairly. Second, First King chapter 4. Solomon officers. Solomon was king of all Israel, and these were his high officials: the prince Azariah, son of Zadok, the court secretary Elihu, Eli, Elihureph, and Ahijah, son of Shisha, in charge of the record; Jehoshaphat, son of Ahilud, commander of the army; Benan, son of Jehoiada; Prince Zadok and Abiathar, chiefs of the district governors; Azariah, son of Nathan, royal adviser; the prince Zabud, son of Nathan, in charge of the palace servant; Ahisha, in charge of the forced labor; Adoniram, son of Ada. Solomon appointed 12 men as district governors in Israel. They were to they were to provide food from their districts for the king and his household, each man be responsible for 1 month out of the year. The following are the names of these 12 officers and the districts they were in charge of: Behuel, the high country of Ephraim; Benzekah, the city of Marcus; Shaibi, Beth Shemesh, Elion, and Beth Hanel; Behized, the city of Arubot, and so called all the territory of Hepher; Ben-Abinadab, who was married to Solomon's daughter Taphat, the whole region of Dor; Banael, son of Ahilud, the cities of Tanach, Megiddo, and all the region near Bethshan, near the town of Zeridan, south of the town of Ziri, as far as the city of Abel; Meholah, and the city of Jokmeh; Ben-Gaber, the city of Ramoth in Gilead, and the village in Gilead, belonging to the clay of Jah; a descendant of Manasseh; and the region of Argob in Bashan, 16 large towns in all, fortified with walls and with bronze bars on the gates; Ahinadab, son of Iddo, the district of Manasseh; Ahimaaz, who was married to Basemath, another of Solomon's daughters, the territory of Naphtali; Baniah, son of Hushai, the region of Asher and the town of Beth-Dor; Jehoshaphat, son of Parah, the territory of Issachar; Shimei, son of Eliah, the territory of Benjamin; Geba, son of Uri, the region of Gilead, which has been ruled by King Sihon of the Amorites, the king Og of Bashan. Besides these 12, there was one governor over the whole land. Solomon's prosperous reign. The people of Judea and Israel were as numerous as the grain of sand on the seashore. They ate and drank and were happy. Solomon's kingdom included all the nations from the Euphrates to Philistia and the Egyptians' border. Paid him taxes and were subjected to him all his life. The supplies Solomon needed each day were 5,000 liters of fine flour and 10,000 liters of meal, 10 store-fed cattle, 20 pasture-fed cattle, and 100 sheep, beside their goodlies, roebucks, and poultry. Solomon ruled over all the land west of the river Euphrates, from Tiphsah on the Euphrates as far west as the city of Gaza. All the kings west of the Euphrates were subjected to him, and he was at peace with all the neighboring countries as long as he lived. The people throughout Judea and Israel lived in safety, each family with its own grapevines and fig trees. Solomon had 4,000 stakes for his chariot horses and 12,000 cavalry horses. His 12 governors, each one in the month assigned needed for himself. Assigned to him supplied the food King Solomon needed for himself and for all who ate in the palace. They always supply everything needed. Each governor also supplied his share of barley and straw where it was needed for the chariots, horses, and the draught animals. God gave Solomon unusual wisdom and insight, and knowledge too great to be measured. Solomon was wiser than the wise men of the East or the wise men of Egypt. He was the wisest of all men, wiser than Ethan the Israelites, and Heman, Calcol, and Dagda, the sons of Mahu, and his fame spread throughout all the neighboring countries. He composed 3,000 proverbs and more than 1,000 songs. He spoke of trees and plants, from the Lebanon cedars to the herbscope that grows on walls. He talks about animals, birds, reptiles, and fish. Kings all over the world heard of his wisdom and sent people to listen to him. Okay, so this is the end of today's reading. I will mark it. We stopped at First King chapter 4. So before we go, let me read Psalm 20. The Lord is my shepherd, I have everything I need. Let me rest in the field of and lead me to quiet pools of fresh waters. He gives me new strength and guides me in the right paths. As he has promised, even if I go through the deepest darkness, I will not be afraid, Lord, for you are with me. Your shepherd rod and staff protect me. You prepare a banquet for me where all my enemies can see me. You welcome me as an honored guest and take up to the brim. I know that your goodness and love will be with me all my life, and your house will be my home as long as I live. The great King, the world and all that is in it belongs to the Lord. The earth and all who live on it are his. He built it on the deep waters beyond the earth and laid its foundations to the ocean depths. Who has the right to go the Lord he? Who may enter his holy temple? Those who are pure in heart and in thought, who do not worship idols or make false promises. The Lord will bless them and save them. God will declare them innocent. Such are the people who come to God, who come into the presence of the God of Jacob. Fling wide the gates, open the ancient doors, and the great king will come in. Is this great king? He is the Lord, strong and mighty, the Lord victorious in battle. Fling wide the gates, open the ancient doors, and the great king will come in. Who is this great king of glory? Who is this great king? The triumphant Lord, he is the great king. Hallelujah. So this is the end of today's reading. We will meet again tomorrow morning by 4:40 something. Bye bye. Tomorrow. Is it tomorrow morning? Yeah. Bye. So Andrew, I'm very sorry. I was not looking at the camera by the time you wrote this your name, and I was asking you to mention your name, to say your name. I'm very sorry, really, really sorry. So I hope I can see it. I can message you tomorrow so I can mention your name. Bye bye. Thank you for staying and watching.